Namaskar, this is Akhilesh Bhargava. Welcome to Tit-Bits on Business and Finance with me. Whenever a bank chooses to give a loan to an undeserving and unworthy borrower, obviously there's a default. The borrower fails to pay the loan, and both the bank and the borrower get into a crisis. Sometimes, apart from the borrower, even the bank goes bankrupt on account of losses caused by bad loans. And that's what has happened in the case of many public sector banks which went bankrupt on account of bad loans given. They have been revived by the government by recapitalization, by infusing additional capital. Public money of lakhs of crores have been infused to revive these banks, along with the Reserve Bank of India nursing them back to health under the prompt corrective action. In such cases, the balance sheet of the borrower and the bank, they both get infected with losses on account of bad loans. And that is what is popularly called India's twin balance sheet problem. The borrower and the bank both in a soup on account of bad loans. Another common feature of these kind of bad loans is that when these loans turn bad, the books of accounts of the bank and the borrower both get manipulated. Both of them want to hide the loss on account of the bad loan and want to show a rosy picture. But then, it is not really easy to manipulate the books of accounts and financial statements of any entity unless the auditors also participate in it. The management of any entity will always be keen to show a rosy picture. It will often not be keen to show the real state of affairs whenever losses are incurred. But they cannot show it unless the auditors are willing to participate in this kind of fudging of the financial statements. And that happens if the auditors are ignorant or incompetent, negligent or corrupt. And whether they are ignorant, incompetent, negligent or corrupt, either of these are serious lapses on the part of the auditors. The entire saga of the NPAs of India, 15 lakh crores and counting, is on account of this manipulation of books of accounts of banks as well as the borrowers. Because of this problem has got delayed in recognizing for years together, and it continues to cripple India's banking system. The ongoing investigations of various agencies like the SFIO, Reserve Bank of India, SEBI, Ministry of Corporate Affairs, etc., in banks like Yes Bank, Axis Bank, ICICI, etc., and also in the case of the big giant bankrupted NBFC, ILFS, all of these show that there has been participation and connivance of the auditors in the giant scams, frauds or manipulation of financial statements that took place. It has already been established by SFIO in the case of ILFS that the entire fraud and scam in the case of ILFS occurred because of a central role played by Deloitte, a giant audit and accounting firm. And for that, the ILFS dubious management paid it a sum of 20 crores a year only to enable it to participate in the fudging and manipulation of the financial statements of ILFS. That was the ILFS story, and as we had considered earlier, the auditors of ILFS, Deloitte and KPMG, have both been named by the SFIO in the chart sheet that they have filed, saying that they participated in this entire manipulation by virtue of not stating the true state of affairs and giving a clean chit. The Reserve Bank of India has found a similar situation in the case of Yes Bank and Axis Bank, and in the eye of the storm of the manipulation of the financial statements of Yes Bank and Axis is an audit firm called SR Bartley Boy. SR Bartley Boy is a flagship entity of Ernst & Young, yet another huge multinational accounting firm. And the charges are that SR Bartley Boy was aware of the financial manipulation in the case of Axis Bank and Yes Bank, and it did not object to it, and it gave a clean chit. Now these accounting firms, audit firms like Deloitte, Ernst & Young, which is EY, etc., are part of the well-known huge giant multinational accounting firms called the Big Four. The Big Four actually have a hegemony, a monopoly over the audit and accounting profession worldwide. They are giant firms, they have huge resources, they have infinite networking which they use in order to protect their interests and perpetrate their businesses. They, as I said, have got huge resources, huge revenues. Take the case of EY. Last year, it had global revenues to the tune of $34.8 billion. Very few corporates would have that kind of revenue. It was present in over 150 countries and it had a manpower of 270,000. That is the huge size they have, by which they influence, by which they dominate, and they even dominate the regulators of various countries. The newspaper reports say that the Reserve Bank of India has banned S.R. Bartley Boy, a part of the EY network, from undertaking any bank audits for a period of 1 year from 1/4/2019 onwards for its dubious role in the manipulation of the books of accounts, the financial statements of Axis Bank and Yes Bank. The RBI says that there has been a divergence. When we say divergence, take it as underreporting of losses on account of bank bad loans in the case of these two banks to the tune of 13,500 crores. 13,500 crores for the financial year 15-16. The Reserve Bank has held this audit firm, which is part of the EY network, to be guilty of violations and lapses, and for that account, it has banned it from undertaking any audit of a bank in India for a period of 1 year. Our response is just a year? Just a year of being banned, and that too only from undertaking audits of banks. It can undertake every other audit, it can undertake every other work, it can undertake every other assignment. And for having participated in fudging financial statements to the tune of 13,500 crores of banks wherein public money was involved, they are banned for just a year? Such a small punishment for such a major and huge crime? It really doesn't make sense to us. In fact, it raises more and more questions to us in the matter of dealing with such delinquent audit firms, because of whose participation the financial statements of banks and other financial institutions and other entities actually got manipulated and the truth was hidden. And what are those questions? The first question is 1 year's ban from undertaking audits of banks, just audits of banks, enough and enough punishment for having looked the other side when the financial statements of Axis Bank and Yes Bank were being manipulated to the tune of 13,500 crores? Is that enough? Should there not have been far more stringent punishment across the board? In the Nirav Modi case, where many bankers were found to be involved, they have been suspended for life and are facing criminal prosecution. And here, a ban for just a year? It doesn't make sense to us. The second question, what about the personal accountability of all those persons in this audit firm who authorized the bogus or falsified financial statements of Yes Bank and Axis Bank? Are those partners who were involved in it also being punished personally, or no action will be taken against them? Will the firm be just let off by this 1 year ban, or will the persons behind this kind of manipulation of financial statements also be punished, is our second question. Our third question is to the Reserve Bank of India. Why such a minor punishment, and that too after a delay of 5 years? This particular violation relates to the financial year 15-16. Almost 5 years have gone by, and after 5 years a punishment is given. We think it is justice delayed as far as the public is concerned. This should have happened much earlier. Our next question, is the Reserve Bank stopping here, or is it going to insist on disgorgement of profits by some agency? When an auditor is willing to compromise his integrity and independence, he does it for a price. The price could be additional fees or additional work given to the auditor. We call it non-audit assignments. Of course, this audit firm, S.R. Bartley Boy, would have benefited immensely by having been party to such manipulation of the financial statements of Axis Bank and Yes Bank. Are they not going to be punished by taking away these profits which have been illegally earned by them is our question. The other is, we hope that other agencies like the Institute of Chartered Accountants, SEBI, SFIO, etc. will also initiate parallel inquiries against this audit firm and punish it for this serious lapse on its part. And finally, our last question is, will the criminal agencies like CBI, etc. also swing into action and sufficiently penalize and prosecute the persons behind this kind of manipulation and fudging of financial statements of banks? To us, a ban of 1 year is too little. It is not even commensurate with the kind of lapse violation that was committed by this audit firm. And further action needs to be taken. And if it is not taken, it would be only proof of the fact that these big four, these large multinational accounting firms are above the law as far as India is concerned. To us, for manipulating financial statements to the tune of 13,500 crores, 1 year's ban is a joke on the investing public and on the overall legal system of India. This is Akhilesh Bhargava signing off till we meet again. Namaskar.
HW News Network today is a year and a half old. Thanks to your support, thanks to your love, we've grown. We require your support a little more. What we request you to do is to download our free app. Our app is in Hindi, English and Marathi. We promise to update you with the latest news, views, analysis, interview. We also have a live TV going in that. If you download our app, we will get advertisers. And if we get advertisers, we'll get revenue. We get revenue, we can serve you better. So once again, please do support us. Please download our app. Namaskar.
If you like this video, please share it and we would love to hear your comments in the comments section down here. Also, please do like our Facebook page and follow us on Twitter to get minute-to-minute news updates. For more such shows and videos, subscribe to our YouTube channel.